I'm Florin and I'm from Bucharest, Romania. I was born in a Romanian hospital. My mother gave birth to me, falsified her identification, and fled the hospital. She left me there, and the state then sent me to my first of two orphanages. I grew up until I was 7.5 in those orphanages, at which point I found out that I was going to be adopted at the age of 5. When 2.5 years later, I did get adopted, what the orphanage did was take me to the airport, the international airport, and that's where my mother was just landed. And they surprised her with me, and the only word I knew was mommy, so I ran into her arms, and that was my beginning story. So now that I was 7.5, I moved to Pioneer, Ohio, across the world, and I finally had a family. I was ecstatic, and I excelled at school right away. I learned English within the first year. I just desperately wanted to assimilate into the culture. I wanted to be the perfect son for my parents. So when I was 15, my parents left the house with their dogs, and I was home alone. And I had just recently bought Brokeback Mountain, and I was really excited about watching it, and I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to that night after they went to bed, so I just got it, and I was going to start playing it. And I got about 15 minutes into the film when all of a sudden I heard our dogs barking, and it was the sign that my parents were all of a sudden home. They said to me right away, "What are you watching?" And I said, "Nothing, I'm just watching TV." And my dad said, "What's in the DVD player?" And I just completely froze. I don't think I was even able to answer him. And so he went over, opened the DVD player, and he saw that it was Brokeback Mountain. And what he said to me was, "Okay, this is what you like watching. I want to know why. And so we're going to sit here as a family, and we're going to watch this. And we're going to figure out why you like watching these things." So after the film ended, my parents all of a sudden said, there's got to be consequences here. And I was, grounded for a month, I think, if I remember. And of course, they ripped the DVD in half and they threw it. I was told that I'd be, I needed to reread the Bible, and I needed to really understand what it was that I was doing, and that I needed to stop this behavior immediately. And I can remember crying myself to sleep that night. So through high school, I kept myself in the closet. I only told a few friends of mine, but my parents, I knew that it was unacceptable, and I knew that I would lose any part of that love that they had for me if I ever did come out. So as a protection, I never did. And all the way as I went into college, I kept that a secret from them. And it was after my freshman year that I had gotten my second boyfriend at that time, that I was really, really happy, and I was going to be coming home for Christmas, and I really wanted to share with them what was going on in my life, and I really didn't want to be dishonest. So I got to writing this letter, and it took me weeks to write this letter, and the basis of this letter was, "I love you. You've taught me everything that I know. You've taken me out of an orphanage and given me everything that I have today. And one of the things that you taught me was honesty and the importance of honesty. And because of that, I can no longer lie to you. So I am gay." So an hour later, I received a response, and it was from my mother. And my mother said, "Hi, Florin. I've read your email. I've read it several times, and I'm shocked, and I'm disappointed. And this is not the son that, I helped raise. Your father is in an incredible health situation right now," which they had just told me a week prior that my dad was having some health issues, but it wasn't a big concern. And all of a sudden now in this letter, my mother's saying, "That was actually a lie. Your dad's actually in a life-death situation right now, and he cannot handle the stress." So 2 hours later, I actually got a second email from them. And now both of my parents were writing this email. So I was to believe all of a sudden my mother now told my father. And this email was a lot angrier. And it was saying essentially that this is not the son that they know. This is not the son they want to know. And how dare I do such a thing, ruin their holiday, ruin their Christmas, to be so selfish. That was the word that was used so much, that I'm incredibly selfish. I was really devastated because they followed it with, "You're uninvited to Christmas," and there was no invite to come back. And so all of a sudden, I thought I had lost my parents. It wasn't until about a year and a half later that I called them up and I said, "You know what? This has gone long enough. I want my parents back in my life. And I know we don't agree about who I am, but I want to start afresh and I want to get to know each other again. And I want to, create a foundation on love, respect, and honesty." And so we started there. That's the relationship I wanted when I first met my parents, that first moment where my dad held me and my mother did. And that's the relationship I want to have today. My greatest hope is that I'm able to call my parents up and tell them what is going on in my entire life, not everything excluding my gay life. That's really my biggest hope. I want to be able to share with them the person that I love or the person that I'm in a relationship with. I want to, who we love is one of the most authentic things about who we are, and that's the thing that I'm not able to connect with my parents on. And I hope that someday I will be able to.